Hola, alpacas. Hola. Oh, that one's taking a piss right now. There you go. Let it all out, girl. Let it all out, sweethearts. You got the baby alpacas here. Baby alpacas. And these are wild. They just live out here in the wild. This is where they live. Wow. I am here at Saqsaywaman, the Sun Temple, the historical Incan site. It was built by the Inca Empire, and I'm about to pan around. I just wanted to get a shot of these alpacas. Now the alpaca, you see the fur that comes down. It's almost like a sheep. How they comb the wool of the sheep. They do the same thing with the alpacas, and they get this beautiful, beautiful, amazing fibers from that, and they weave all of their blankets and their ponchos and bags and shirts and sweaters and all the good stuff that they weave here. Amazing quality stuff, you know. And then the baby alpacas, the smaller ones over here. Hola, hola alpacas. Beautiful, you're so beautiful. These babies right here, they call them baby alpacas. So the baby alpaca is a lot more expensive because it's a lot more fine and soft. So the big ticket item here is baby alpaca ponchos, and they're, you know, you can get them from, you know, starting at like $300 all the way up to, you can pay $1,000 for a really badass poncho here. They got some high quality stuff. Look at these stones. So the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Incans and the ancient Mayans and the Aztecs, like they all have these similar type of things, but the Incans are the ones who built these structures. I don't know how they did it, but when I get closer, you're going to see the angles of these boulders and these stones, almost as if they were cut that way. But how did the ancient Incans thousands of years ago cut boulders to stack on top of each other like Tetris in these shapes? Look at these random shapes, and each of the corners fits exactly snug, perfect into the next, and into the next, and into the next. Incredible here. Nobody knows how they did this. Nobody can to this day understand how this is possible. All these little bitty angles and cuts and corners. It's almost as if this was just a giant single rock. This is my theory, and it just formed that way through sound frequency, vibrations, and who knows? How did the rocks get in that shape? Let alone, how did they move these giant megalithic boulders and structures? How did they move them, number one? But how did they get them to cut them in these exact shapes? All random, all different. None of them are the same. None of these megalithic boulders are the same, and they appear to just fit exactly into each other. Now, I've been to Egypt, and they have kind of similar types of things, but not exactly like this, where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 angles on that one big rock right there. You got 10 angles. How's that possible? What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Theories are, you know, obviously sound, frequency, vibration vibrated and levitated these stones together in place. But how did they get their shape? Mind-blowing. Were these like boulders, like some kind of beings, like alive beings? Some kind of conscious beings that just kind of morphed together as a family, and they're all just snuggled up together as a family, and then they just solidified on this earth as solid rock? I mean, that's a theory. Oh, look at that diamond one. Wow. Amazing. Another theory is the way they moved them is giants. Actual giants, people lived on the earth. Giants. And, you know, you see all the movies, you know, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and all that. All these movies with giants and them trolls, and, you know, were these actually real beings? Yeah. That's a possibility. That's what I think. And these giant terraces that we see around in Peru, the giant steps, maybe those giant steps were for actual giants to walk up. The only explanation that we have today of how they can move these is giant people, because they don't have cranes, they don't have tools, they didn't have any of that. They must have been giants. And the other, like I said earlier, the other theory is sound frequency vibration, which is what the Egyptian tombs and pyramids used. What Nikola Tesla was onto, that energy, that free energy that he came across. And, obviously the government silenced him, broke into his lab and stole his patents and stole his work. And then they start glorifying Thomas Edison as like the inventor of electricity and the light bulb and whatnot, or the discoverer of electricity. Let me clean my screen a little bit. Got a little foggy action there. Back in it. Wow. This is so impressive. As a construction worker, this is a marvel, an engineering marvel that we cannot reproduce today. And they say the ancient civilizations they were primitive, and the Native Americans and the indigenous tribes and the Aboriginals of Australia, the Egyptians and the Romans and the Mayans, Incas, and Aztecs, that these are primitive tribes because they hunted and they gathered and they killed and murdered people, cut their heads off and rolled them off of pyramid stones. But if you want to compare what America is doing right now, what the world is doing with all their bombing of all these countries, and Israel bombing and killing Palestinians and vice versa, and all the wars, who do you say is primitive? And these people built this, what's called the Sun Temple. And they prayed and worshiped here. They built this temple to the sun. And they had mathematical precision. They had astronomy. They aligned things to the stars, like the Great Pyramids aligned to the Orion's belt. How did they figure all this out without technology, without telescopes, without anything that we have today? So these are advanced beings. This is the remnants of what an advanced civilization looks like. They were advanced beings. They had a connection to the stars, connection to the higher order of life and of the universe. They had an intimate, deep connection, telepathically, psychically, to God, to the stars, to the creator of the universe. They didn't need computers and internet. They had it in their minds. Right here. They had it up here. They meditated. They closed their eyes and they would sit for hours in the fires and they would sing the songs, the sacred spiritual songs, as a tribe. As we in North America know, as Native Americans, they still do their songs and their dances, just like that, for ages and ages. The Aboriginals did it. The Africans did it. All the civilizations did it. Genghis Khan and the Chinese Empire, all of them. They had drums, they had ceremony, they had fires, and they sang songs. That's what we're reconnecting with now in this life. We are reconnecting with our spiritual guide, our direct line of sight to God. It's a scientifically proven connection. There is a connection to the angels and to the spirits and to all of these realms that the ancients were connected to. It's amazing. It's just such an amazing thing to consider. All right. Wow. Get that zoom back in. All right. Or focus, let's go. All right. I got my wonderful guide here who's offered to help me. ¿Cómo te llamas, amigo? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Grimaldo.
Grimaldo.
Grimaldo, yes.
Okay.
I'm a Quechua. I'm speaking 100% Quechua.
Oh, you're Quechuan. Wonderful. Quechuan. Mi hijo, my son, his name is in Quechuan, Mayuzonco.
Mayuzonco.
Yes.
Means heart of the river.
Yes, heart of the river, exactly. Deep flowing river, the heart of the river. Yeah, my son is channeled by another shaman, Manuel, on the Quinta Concha. Yeah, the Three Lakes. You've been, right?
Yeah, I know.
And the
very close to Pisac.
Yeah, very close to Pisac, the waterfalls and the beautiful land. Yes, that's beautiful. Another shaman channeled my son's name to me before he was born. I knew I had a boy, and I knew what his name was before he even came into Earth. It's beautiful, huh? So great to meet you, amigo. Thank you for this guide.
I'm born in the countryside, very far away from here.
Okay.
Like it is a 4-hour drive, and if I wanna go get there My parents are alpaca farmers. All the time it was alpaca farmers.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, this is very, very, very beautiful community. It's indigenous community.
Yeah.
It's very close to Queros. Did you hear about Queros?
Of course, the Queros, I work with Luis Quespi and his
Yeah,
papa
yeah.
and his whole entire family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Queros is here. I'm here. Because this mountain they are separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just went to Ausangate.
I was in that,
Yeah, the other day.
Yes.
I heard the Queros work there very intimately. So the Queros are the ancient spiritual tribe civilization that was around kind of the same time as Incas, right?
Yeah.
Same time, but they were more spiritual, more. How would you say the difference?
Spiritually, language,
Yeah.
speaking of Quechuan, practice any religions. It's very interesting. If you wanna learn, if you wanna get, you can learn, and you know how they live in there.
Yeah. So.
Connection with mountains.
Yes. So the Quechuans are different than the Incans, and they're still alive today. And it is said, I don't if you can verify this story, but I was told this story. It is said that when the Spaniards came and colonized South America and created the countries that we know of today, Peru, Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, all these countries, and then in America, Mexico, United States, and all these things, that they colonized all of us, right? So they colonized the South here. The Quechuan, I heard, was told that they saw that, they were tuned into what was happening, and they fled to the mountains, to the Apus, and they hid for 50 years, and then they come down, right? Is that true? Is that do you know that story?
Yeah, because right now there's making routes, easy for getting there, Before it was very complicated for getting there,
Yes.
Yeah, but after Spanish they were escape or they were looking for back end of the mountain, very secluded places.
Yeah, so they hid for 50 years, and then they finally said, okay, we can come out now. And then by then, the whole country was colonized by the Spaniards, and so was North America and all of us, and they are still the same people. They still the same bloodlines. They, I guess, fornicate or reproduce with each other. And the Quechuan people are alive and strong, and they're the most beautiful, heart-centered people you will ever meet in your life. Such amazing people, and they've held on to that culture the entire time, and they passed down the tradition. So every time I come to Peru, we get blessed by the Quechuans. I said Quechuan. The Quechuan is the language from the Queros. We get blessed by the Queros, and that's the name of the tribe, the Queros. And they speak Quechuan is the language. So we get blessed by Luis Quespi is one of my brothers here, and we come see him every time, and he does a despacho ceremony for us. Him and his father, Manuel, I believe that's his name, and his wife makes these beautiful ponchos, and it's amazing to have that connection with Luis Quespi and the Queros to learn from these people. It's amazing. Thank you so much for that transmission. You want to tell me a bit about this temple here, the Sun Temple?
Yes, because it was for pray to nobody living here. Exactly as Walter right now to look back this part exactly, it's unfinished. Was a start building, and then the Spanish was arrived to here. Always Incan they were foundation his temple on the rocks. For what? For getting more stability. Probably it was postpaid like a pyramid, but it's never ends.
So they started construction and they didn't finish this site right here. It's unfinished. They were going to build, potential pyramids, he said, right here, which makes sense because there's pyramids in, the Mayan ruins, Tulum, and all the ancient civilization, the Aztecs and the Egyptian, they all had pyramids, so that makes sense. Wow. And this place right here, what is this for?
Right now, look at this architect that has zigzag shape, in, out, in, out. But a lot of people asking about that, why they were building in a zigzag. Because this architect is an earthquake. For getting more stronger, for getting more stability.
More strength and more stability for earthquakes. The zigzag structure gives it more foundation. And obviously, thousands of years later, you can tell the ancients, civilizations were advanced. They were not ruthless, like what was the word I used earlier? Just uncivilized, or whatever you want to call it. Primitive, that's the word I used. Primitive. They weren't primitive, they were advanced.
As well, that inside this temple was put in a lot of gold.
A lot of gold inside the temple.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Do you know why? Why? Because inside temple they were putting a lot of gold for getting more energy.
Yeah.
Gold is best conductor energy.
So is that why gold is the most expensive metal on the planet right now? That they know that there's energy in gold.
Yes.
It's
yes,
not
for
just
energy, yeah.
it's just not shiny metals and pretty metal. It's actually got an energy to it. That's why the Egyptians, they adorned their faces and their earrings and their teeth and everything in gold back in the day. The temples, the tombs, gold surrounding the sarcophaguses and the pyramids. Wow, that's so amazing. And obviously the Spaniards came and took all the gold, huh?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Let's talk to Spain.
Okay. Big bullies. Wow. Okay, I'm going to shut this off for now. We're going to keep walking there. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to my channel. Sending much love from Peru. Mwah. Saqsaywaman in the house.